We'll be talking about health is wealth and why health is wealth. Speaking of health is wealth, Saratoga water. I like drinking that. So wait for a few people to come in here. Let me know if my sound's okay, if you would. Should be good. Feel free to come in and say a couple pleasantries. I generally like to wait about 2 to 3 minutes to get started, allow some people to come in here. And we'll go ahead and I think you're going to really enjoy this one right here. Okay, I think there's a lot of things people overlook or they're not educated on. And that's what I'm going to do, help you educate yourself on why health is wealth, how to get health, and how it leads to wealth. Yeah, all that in a nutshell right there. So the numbers are starting to pop up right now, probably about 45 seconds or so. We'll get started. Remember, I just opened with a monologue, 5 or 10 minutes long. After that, it is, like I said, it is AMA. Ask me anything. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of questions that came up. There's a few questions that have came up that I'm going to address right after the monologue. And if you want to throw them in chat, that sounds good. How you doing, Sage? Always like that name. That's a pretty cool name, Sage. Glad to hear that. Glad things are all good. You're telling me the sound's all good? Awesome. Cool. That's what I like to hear. Looks like you're coming over from Facebook too. I'm sorry, YouTube, looking at it. Nice to have you from YouTube. So remember, this is streaming live on YouTube, X, Facebook, and it will be edited slightly. In other words, to shorten it on both ends so that way it gets right to the point. And they're available in our live section on YouTube. So if you haven't joined our YouTube channel, please take the time to join it. I think you'll really enjoy it. You get an alert for every time that a new video pops up too. And I'd also like to mention when it comes to that, to the YouTube, that I'll go ahead and move them over from live to the regular video section because not everybody knows there's a live section on YouTube. So sometimes that gets overlooked. So I'll go ahead and make an extra copy of it, slide it over there in the video section. That way you'll get it through your text alerts, through TMF and stuff like that. All right, so we're getting real close. We got 15 seconds. I'll go ahead and get started. And I think you're going to be really, really pleasantly surprised and maybe even a little bit grossed out by a couple of things that I show you. I've kind of prepared a couple of little slides on top of it. What's up, Bobby? How you doing? Glad to have you here, man. All right, 2 more seconds. We'll get started. Got a good number of people in here. Remember, this will be available on YouTube. I'm Rob Allen with TruckMountForums. Let's get started. Okay, health is wealth. Why? Well, what do you think? I mean, you can't really go to work if you're sick, right? And you're not healthy. So it's really important to take care of yourself. But what I'm going to do is give you some strategies to help improve your health. Now, I want to preface it with this. This is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a dietitian. I'm only going to relate to you what has worked for me through the decades. And really, even more so over the last 10 years as I've started to educate myself on improving my health and improving my diet, improving my exercise and stuff like that. I'm on no meds and I'm in decent shape. Am I in perfect shape? No. Could I be in better shape? Yes, but I'm in good shape. And I think that's what counts because you can't always just spend all your time working out, exercising, and then you can't really do your business things or take care of your family and stuff like that. Remember, everything in balance is what I always say. All right. And it also doesn't mean I can't get hit by a car, God forbid, and die. But at least I died knowing that I was in the best health I was and possibly could be in. And on top of it, I was hit by a car, not hit by ignorance. And a lot of people these days, unfortunately, are hit by ignorance. And I'll break that down as we move along here. Okay. So, so many people these days don't realize our health and our well-being is under assault. I mean, really, there's a war against us having good health. We have bad air, bad food, bad water, bad meds, bad education, bad social media, bad TV. It just goes on and on and on. So to me, it's a total assault of our well-being, our health. So you have to really be educated. You really have to be on your P's and Q's, and you have to be alert to some of the things they're doing. And that's what I'm going to do because unfortunately, people being sick is profitable for big companies. I'm talking about in the billions of dollars. Many, many billions, hundreds of billions are made off of us not being in our best shape. And I want to remind everybody, if you didn't catch some of my prior episodes, it takes 11 days to count to a million. It takes 32 years to count to a billion. So think about that difference, 11 days versus 32 years. They made hundreds of billions, even trillions over the years, and trillions take 32,000 years to count. So you think about that type of money that's involved, and you can see why there's an agenda to keep us unhealthy and to keep us sick, sad to say. Now, I'm not going to go into that agenda tonight. I'll try to keep that to myself, maybe for another podcast, who knows. But I will speak on what is bad out there and what is good out there, so we can help you to have a good starting point. So you can go ahead and get things under control starting at this point right here. And I say this quite a bit. I always say the first thing first is wake up. I mean, come on now, question everything. You need to arm yourself with knowledge. No offense, but instead of watching TV, which is filled with stupidity, music, social media, partying, and stuff like that, instead you should read and study what's healthy and what's not healthy. Sadly, one of the smartest men who walked in our era, I mean, this guy had an incredible IQ, was in incredible shape. He said that most Americans had the equivalent of a second grade education. And it's all due to the fact that everything is designed to distract you from your rights, from good food and health, and all that is stolen from you. That's what they want to do. They want to steal your rights. They want to steal your good food. They want to steal your health. And people are allowing them to do it because they're getting caught up and, like I said, getting involved in things they probably shouldn't be, watching too much TV, sports channels, um, lyrical music, social media, the list, partying, alcohol, drugs. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, right? So you want to make sure that you limit or completely stop those things if you can. That's what I've done. I don't even have a TV in my own house. All right. Now, I also want you to know that it's up to you to stand up for your health. No one's going to stand up for your health as well as you are. I'm sorry, whether it's a relative, whether it's a friend, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a professional colleague, none of them are going to stand up for your health as well as you are. So I would not depend on other people to help you get into the best shape of your life or to be healthy. Okay. Because a lot of times they'll let you down or they'll mislead you, and you need to be educated. We live in the day of the educated consumer. So educate yourself. Now, what I'm going to do is show you a couple of examples of some bad food and then some good food. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at one of them right now and some of the things you need to watch out for. Okay. Here's the first one right here. And this is, I'm not going to say what the name of it is, but at the very bottom here, you notice it says bioengineered food ingredients. Now, what is that? Now, these are foods that the genetic makeup of the food has been changed. And whenever you change things like that, they cause a lot of problems. Let's not forget, bioengineered is just a new name for GMOs. And we all know what genetically modified organisms does, right? It's horrible on our system. People are sick from it. They get all kinds of ailments. Their immune system goes down. And then that makes them susceptible to cancer and all kinds of other things. So I say be very cautious, or don't even eat anything that has bioengineered food ingredients in it or GMOs. Stay away from it. Get as far away as you can. And look at the list of ingredients on this thing. What is it? This thing should only have about 5 ingredients in it. It's probably got 100 ingredients. You really think those ingredients are good for you? No, not at all. Okay. All right. So we want to avoid the bioengineered or the genetically modified, right? What's the second thing? Sugar. You definitely got to be careful of sugar. Look at this Nutella that a lot of people get. Look how much sugar is in the bottom of that thing right there. That's more sugar than you need in a day, probably 5 times more sugar you need a day. So you have to be really careful with sugar, because sugar leads to diabetes. Sugar feeds the sea, cancer. Don't they say that? So all sugar just works against your whole body and your whole system and your whole health. So be very careful of that, okay? And then you can see it's got palm oil in there. So that's going to be the next point. I'm going to switch down here And then I'm going to help you out. And you notice this one right here has vegetable oil. Very misleading vegetable oil. You know what I mean? This is more closer to engine oil than it is to oil that's good for you. Instead, you should be, eating tallow and things like that. So much healthier for you, or raw butter or natural butter and stuff like that. They tried to trick us into getting the synthetic stuff and telling us synthetic is better. Synthetic is never better than natural products. Never, never. There's just no exception. So be extremely careful. So watch out for the oils, the so-called vegetable oils or the seed oils. Remember, it's basically motor oil, and you're putting motor oil into your body, and it does good in your car, but it doesn't do so good in your body. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you now something that I sourced out for potato chips. Check this out right here. Let me get back to the regular screen here. There we go. You see this right here? It's called Rosie's Chips. Now, how many ingredients do you think's in this chips right here? We just saw some chips earlier, had about 30 ingredients in it, right? How many ingredients do you think should be inside of chips, guys? Can you guess? How many ingredients should be in it? Then we'll turn this one around to you right here. Look at that right there. 3 ingredients: potatoes, tallow, and salt. That's it. 3 ingredients. I'm going to tell you what, they are the most delicious chips I've ever ate in my life. Now, is it harder to find good food? Yes. But is it harder to deal with disease and sickness? Absolutely. So source out your foods. It is out there. If you just take the time, and I'll go into that a little further as we move on, you can source these foods. Sometimes you have to source them online and go to smaller retailers or people who are selling stuff online. Do your research, buy the better products. I can't tell you how good these things are. I'd eat them right now, but it makes a lot of noise. But I'll show you one. Look at that thing. I'm telling you, they're incredible. They're amazing. Tempting. You can't just eat one. Where we heard that before, right? But so much better for you, so much healthier. Also, your water. Your water, sad to say, your water source is contaminated. It's got all kinds of horrible stuff in there, from parasites to fluoride to chemicals. Really, I hate to say this, but your city water is basically just your recycled poop water. You know what I mean? They take it back and recycle it. It's not coming out of a well. Okay. Now, what you can do is source it out like I do. I go and get the Saratoga, which does come from natural springs. To me, this is good stuff. So try to drink better water, eat better foods, source it out. When you go to the grocery store, I always say that the outside of the aisles is where life is, and live food and better food. In the middle is mostly processed fake food. I call the middle of grocery store, especially dog food. That's how I feel about going to fast food restaurants. I mean, it's just basically the same as dog food to me. It really is. If it might be one step better than dog food, but barely. So to me, you're eating dog food when you're eating fast food, when you're eating from the middle of a grocery store, from the processed food. So keep that in mind and take it. That's just how I feel about it. Not everybody feels that way, and I respect that. But remember, this example of this food and this water, that's only one example of the many that are out there. You can source them, but there are thousands and thousands of examples of tainted food out there filled with GMOs, bioengineered, glyphosates, artificial dyes, nasty preservatives. I hate to say this, but even cleaning chemicals. Some of the same ingredients we use in cleaning chemicals are in your foods. Do you know this? Do you realize this? Have you ever researched those ingredients? Just look up some of the ingredients, some of the preservatives, some of the dyes. Look and see what they do to the human body. Hey, ask ChatGTP. Come on now, ask AI. It'll tell you. All right. So now, do you still think there's no agenda? You better wake up, because they'll steal your health and they'll steal your wealth. And remember, health is wealth. And they know that too. That keeps the ultra wealthy people up here, keeps the dumb people down here. You think they eat the same food up here as we do down here? No way. They feed us the cheapest dog food type of food they can feed us. So you have to hit them in the wallet. And how can you hit them in the wallet? Buy the better products. Support the small farms and things like that. That's what I do. Goes a long ways. Because remember, the longer you can stay healthy, the longer you can stay in business. So in turn, that gives you time to build legacy wealth for you and your family. And isn't that what it's all about? I know some people complain, well, it's too expensive to eat organic. Yet those are the same people who are spending tons of money on beer, partying, TV channels, sports channels, all kinds of things. So they have subscriptions to everything, and yet they don't have the money to spend for their health. How much they spend on their cable bill, you know? So if you add those things up, believe me, you can move that money over to organic foods. Even if it's organic, still take the time to wash it and baking soda is what we basically do. Now, I know it's expensive to eat organically, but I'll tell you what's really expensive: disease and health issues. Have you seen the cost of medicines lately? They're insane, right? Okay, so I'd like to show you one more thing before we move on from here. And this is something that's really going on strongly in our country and every other country. Basically cleanses themselves from this, but we don't in America. What is that? Parasites. You know, if you look at the parasites, this came off of some food right out of a package, right under a microscope. And they were crawling around, but I figure there's no reason to put it in a video form so guys could see the parasites crawling around, you know, and pumpkin seeds and what's the other seeds called? Apricot seeds and stuff like that. I'm not a doctor, doesn't cure anything, but I'm just saying it has a very good effect on parasites. So keep that in mind. And eating healthy and eating better. Parasites love junk food, they especially love sugar. So try to reduce those things and get yourself in better shape because you don't want the stuff up inside you. It's just nasty, right? You don't need it. Okay, so the next thing up is your exercise. You know, I found nothing beats weights. But when it comes to weights, you don't need to overdo it. At my shop, I basically got a set of adjustable dumbbells, and each day I just do one body part, Monday through Friday. So Monday I do chest, then I do what do I do after chest? I can't remember right offhand, but I'll do chest, I'll do legs, which I'll do squats. I'll do papaya seeds. Very good. Somebody said papaya seeds for parasites. Yeah. I'll do my back. I'll do my shoulders. Oh, I know what I do on Tuesdays. I do my biceps. So those 5 things I do, and I basically do one body part at a time. It's real simple. I just do 3 sets, 3 sets of curls, 3 sets of presses, 3 sets of everything. That's all I basically do. I also keep a jump rope at my shop. When I get in the morning, I'll do a couple hundred jump ropes in the morning. Before I leave, I do a couple 100 jump ropes. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably think, well, I'm cleaning carpets. That's enough. No, it's not because your body quickly adjusts to different loads. So even with the weights, every month I'll change it up. I might just kind of change the direction. Instead of doing a curl like this, I'll do a curl like this. Instead of doing a press just right in front of me, I might do a press, behind me. So those things make a difference. Or if I'm doing squats with the weights, I'll go ahead and move my legs wider or I'll put them closer. Little things like that every single month just to mix it up and it fools your body. And plus you can add weight. Work your way up to the highest weight you can get and then start kind of reasonably and work your way back up again. Keep on doing that throughout the year. No need to overcomplicate it. Seriously, people just overcomplicate it a lot with weights unless you're really trying to become a bodybuilder or something. I'm just trying to stay in basic shape. Okay. All right. So that covers exercise for the most part. Just try to get some good weight training in and your aerobics. You might get that from carpet cleaning. That's fine too, but at least get some kind of aerobics in. I like to do the jump ropes. Another thing is remember, like I said about the water, source your water. Try to find the healthiest water you can drink because remember, our bodies are made up of a lot of water and water goes a long ways. The next thing is mental health. A lot of people overlook mental health and whatever you listen to, what you read and what you watch, is it poison or is it productive? Only you can answer that question. I don't listen to low vibration music anymore. The music companies, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago switched over from a frequency that was better and vibration that was better for you to a lower frequency or a different frequency, which has a bad effect on your body. So very seldom will I listen to low vibration music. And low vibration music just brings your whole body down and causes a lot of stress. And stress is what I'm going to talk about next week. Also, what do you read? You're just reading junk, and stuff like that. Instead, really, about sports and everything. Why not read things that help you make your business stronger, help you make your mind stronger, help you make your health stronger? To me, that's what I try to do. Do things that are very productive. And what are you watching? Are you watching TV? Are you watching porn? Are you watching sports all the time? Well, all that's going to do is just bring your mental health down. So if you don't complain, if you're not getting ahead in life and you're not accomplishing things, if you're poisoning your brain and you're poisoning your body, because really it just boils down to you, sad to say. So now how can we source these things out? I personally belong to a farm, so I can get raw milk, raw butter. Those things are really good for you. I get better steaks, higher quality steaks. They don't have all the crap inside them and stuff like that. And they're actually really grass fed, and they're pasture raised. That means a lot. A lot of companies say their meat is grass fed, but they got them inside of a building, just throw some grass at them, you know. So don't let them fool you that way. All right. So I just want to reemphasize nothing beats educating yourself. Nothing beats self-education. Nothing. Don't rely on other people. Now you can learn from other people, but you got to self-educate yourself. That's why I rarely ever listen to music. I don't have a TV in my house. Instead, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm watching documentaries, and I'm reading books. All those things right there are just making me stronger mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, all those things. And last but not least, of course, you want to make sure that you're consistent. Consistency for anything to work, you have to be consistent, right? Okay, so now I hope you can see health is wealth. There's a direct correlation between health and wealth. You can't make no money when you're sick in bed, right? Or you're spending all your money on meds. You can't build legacy wealth without health. So you can't be the best person you can be. Really, you got only one shot at this for you and your family. So look, give it your best shot and let the chips fall where they may. You might not have perfect health. You might not have perfect wealth, but I tell you what, your health and your wealth will improve if you go ahead and put these things into action, these strategies. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and open it up to AMA. If you got any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask. Bring them on over here into chat, and I'll break them down for you. There's a couple of questions that came up on the board. I'll break those down first. Let me scroll this chat down here, see what we got. Feel free to come in, make any comments, and if you've got any questions about anything I just talked about, or you got some questions about the industry, feel free to ask. You should drink my water at room temperature too, unless it's really cold, hot outside. Okay, the first question was, Rob, is using a in which situation should I be using an alkaline or acidic rinse? I like to use an alkaline rinse always on polyester carpets. So if you've got a way to go ahead and test it, like we have the little acid testers that we sell, I recommend testing it and see if it's polyester. If it's polyester, I always use an alkaline rinse because polyesters have an affinity for oils. They grab a hold of them like Velcro and they don't let them loose. So you want that 1-2 punch from your pre-spray, from your alkaline rinse, knock it out. And you don't have to worry about the pH being dropped because it's not going to affect polyester like it affects nylon or naturals, which leads me to when should you use an acidic rinse. I use the acidic rinse on, regular soil carpets, and I use it on all nylons and all naturals. Okay. So I hope that answers your question right there. So remember, that's why I keep 2 jugs on my truck. And I recommend anybody that's got the 5-gallon jug on their truck, go ahead and get 2.5 gallons, and just flip your hose over from one to the next. All right. So you want to be able to have an alkaline on one side and acid on the other side. And it's just so convenient, and you'll find yourself doing so much a better job. I will say though, our ultimate fiber rinse is one of the only, it took like 2 years to make this stuff. It's one of the only acidic rinses on the market that actually still gives you some cleaning ability while dropping your pH, while making the carpets softer, and while keeping the carpets cleaner longer. That's what makes it so good. And it is our top selling rinse. There's no doubt about it. And, but like I said, if I've got a frog nasty carpet and I'm going to be running, and I got some polyester, the carpet's just in nasty condition, I'm going to go ahead and run my alkaline rinse afterwards. Okay, second question was, is using a carpet rake necessary? I would say it's necessary to have a carpet rake on your truck. Okay. And why do I say that? Because I personally don't rake my carpets. I know that's against the big schools, you know what I mean? And to me, it's a personal preference, but for the 40 years, we just celebrated our 40th year in business for my carpet and water restoration company here in Hampton Roads, Virginia. Got over 1,000 5-star reviews. I don't know if we're around 1,100, 1,200. I lost count, but the point is, all my customers are used to the backgammon look, or what y'all call the triangles or the pyramids. You know, I basically just call it the backgammon look. My customers are used to that, so I leave it that way. Now, where do you need a rake at? To me, you need a rake when you are applying deodorizer, when you're applying a protector, solvent sealer. You definitely want to go ahead and groom it in. That way it gets it nice and even. And to me, I don't think there's a wrong way or a right way. Okay, that's up to you, however you want to do it. I know in the forums, people just argue about it all the time. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate that, bud. Yeah, 40 years in business, man, you got to have a lot of intestinal fortitude and consistency and quality to stick around that long. So who knows? Maybe it'll be around for many more decades when my son takes over, because I am getting very close to retirement age. Even when I do retire, though, I'll probably still be doing my podcast because I enjoy doing this. So having a rake on your truck is really good and handy. Some people feel, and there's probably some truth to it, that if you groom the carpets will dry faster. But my customers are used to that backgammon look, so I'm not giving it up. You got 24 years, Joe? Congratulations, man. Hey, that's a feat, brother. Anything over 5 or 10, remember, nine out of 10 small businesses fail in the first year, right? First year, that's right. No, first 5 years. So 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years, and then another 90% fail from that number that's left over at 10-year mark. So you got to pass the 10-year marks. You've gone a long ways. You're at 24. I'm at 40. That's a long time. Gives my age away, doesn't it? A long time. But you know what? It's been all worth it. Kind of wish I knew what I know now back then, but everything led me to where I'm at now by owning TruckMountForums and our TMF chemical line, Vac-Away, YouTube channel, Facebook groups, the forum, all that. So all that's been a result of a lot of the struggles that I've gone through, and now I can reap those rewards, and can't complain. And also, I can help other people become successful, like I'm doing right now. Okay, second question: does appearance inside my van really matter? Anybody want to chime in on this one before I get started? Does the appearance inside my van really matter? It really does matter. When I hear somebody say that, the first thing that goes back to my mind is one day I was out cleaning. Man, I haven't cleaned a few years, but it's probably been about 10 years or so ago. And when I had one of my nice vans, my box trucks, you know how I like to keep my box trucks. And I remember a customer walking by my truck, a woman, and she turned to me and she said, "Wow, I wish my inside of my house looked this good. We look this clean." That's what she said. "I wish the inside of my house looked this clean." Now you think about the psychological impact that made on that client for her to make such a comment. So it goes to show when customers do walk by, they do see if your van looks nasty on the inside. Nobody likes nasty, filthy trash everywhere. I don't care what you say. I've seen dashes that are full of trash, got trash bags and food bags and fast food stuff all laying in the seats and on the floors. Just nasty. I can never live that way. Never live that way. Just nasty. I couldn't do it. And I really feel like customers do see not just the outside of your van. On occasions, they see the inside of your van too. So I really feel like it does make a big difference. Everything adds up. Everything is the little things that set you apart from your competitors. So anything you can do to improve your quality and your appearance is going to set you above in the customer's mind. She'll remember it. Let's face it, maybe somebody shows up with a nasty van with junk and trash everywhere. She's going to think back to herself, wow, I should have went with that guy. I'm going to go back and give him a call. So it might not always make the impact immediately, but it is definitely what they call an NMOT, a negative moment of truth. So you're trying to remove as many negative moments of truth as possible and add as many PMOTs as possible, positive moments of truth. So you want that gap to be wide and you want to be above your competitors. Your competitors might be just delivering a few positive moments of truth. You should be delivering a ton of positive. Okay? A ton. Is there a possibility on a black label liquid rinse? We had it before, and we're almost finished it now. So yes, it will be available for this spring. Keep that in mind. So we want to keep the set base the same. But when we first came out with it, it wasn't perfect. So we pulled it back out, and the chemist has been working on it diligently, and we're pretty sure we have it down pat. But remember, we take our products out into the field, and we test them ourselves for a good amount of period of time to make sure that they're definitely up to par, up to the par that I like, the highest quality level that's possible. Because I understand at the end of the day, the customers want the carpets clean. You want the carpets to stay clean so you look better to the client, and you want them to smell nice. And that's what it's going to do. Black Label's working great. Glad to hear that, Russell. I appreciate that. Thank you. And that's true, Rex. You understand, man. Keeping the inside of that truck clean makes a huge difference. Okay, the last one is kind of a tough question. It's not that I can't answer it. It's just that there's some variables that can be involved. And this question is, hey, what if my truck mount froze up from the cold? What do I do? Well, you're going to have to thaw it out for one thing. But more than likely, you've done some damage. A lot of people just don't understand, a lot of cleaners, the damage that water does when it expands. Because when it freezes, it expands. And you know what? It doesn't always show up right away. It might be a week later. It might be a month later. But I'll tell you what, it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen. Your heat exchangers are going to break. These big companies make a ton of money selling heat exchangers and installing them. I mean, a ton of money. And downtime is a killer. We're in a constant race against downtime. Okay. If you're down these days, I've had people come into my shop now because there's a local large company in our area. I won't say the name of them. They don't even have a mechanic. Don't even have a mechanic. So you have to take it to, almost a state away. And that's where they're going. I think these big companies are moving towards hubs. They just want several hubs around. So the point is, if you have to go to a hub, you're going to be in trouble because now you're going to have to travel. So you got downtime in your machine. You got downtime because now you have to travel to somewhere. And some of these places are behind 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. Think about that. Can you really survive that? So what you're going to have to do, unfortunately, is if you have broken your heat exchanger and until you can get it repaired, you're going to have to go ahead and bypass your heat exchangers and just run with cold water. Not much you can do because you're going to lose way too much water pressure. That water will be running right out your exhaust, and it's going to damage your blower too. So if you've frozen your truck mount, thaw it out. Don't let it happen again. Be prepared to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. There's no way around it. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And we get on these boards, these forums, these groups, and we're constantly telling people, look, don't let your truck mount freeze. You just go to Home Depot or go onto Amazon, pick yourself up a remote temperature sensor. You put it inside your truck. It alerts inside the house. Right off your phone, it'll tell you, tell you if it's getting down to 40 degrees. Get on out there. Get your heater on there. I've got several videos of different heaters you can put inside your truck if you can't put it inside of a place. So let's see. Chris Barnes says, or they don't care. Yeah, a lot of cleaners just don't care when it comes to keeping their van clean. Doesn't. It's sad. All they want is the money, and they don't care about their truck mount. Let's see. Unless you're talking about the truck mount's freezing, Chris, which is probably what you're talking about there. Yeah, well, they find out the hard way. No doubt about it. Okay, next question here. I'll be on for about another 10 minutes, just so you know. Try to keep this around 45 minutes or so. Where do you see the carpet cleaner business industry going in the next 5-10 years? Due to homeowners switching to hard surfaces. This is a good question. And I don't agree with what I see a lot of stuff on the internet about. I see the hard surface promoter guys getting on here saying, carpet cleaning, carpet's dying, carpet's dying. Carpet's not dying. Nope, we're just as busy as we've ever been. Okay. Now, am I saying that they're not shifting to a lot of hard surfaces? Absolutely. The carpet mills have shut down half of their mills, and they've switched them over to LVT and LVP. No doubt about it. So, however, the LVT and LVP is generally downstairs, and it's generally in the areas where, where the stairs, halls, and bedrooms are generally still staying carpets. And they're putting LVT and LVP in the halls of apartment complexes and condominiums and stuff. But for the most part, inside of the actual homes, they're still doing it again. You're getting a mix of both. You're getting a little bit more hard surface inside, but you're still getting your soft surfaces. So I see the carpet cleaning business really still doing well in the next 5-10 years. Now, is it going to grow at the same rate? No. Will the pie be slightly smaller? Yes. So if you're doing higher quality work and better customer service, you're not going to have a problem. You're just not going to have a problem. The problem is your thinking. Don't let it scare you. And on the other hand, remember, with our finishing products, we offer products where you can clean and you can coat these LVTs and LVPs. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to some homes. I'm not even out there that much, but I tell my guys to call me when they get an empty house with some LVT or LVP. That stuff is scratched up. Remember, it ain't scratch proof. All right. It ain't dull proof, but it's scratch resistant and it's dull resistant. That's the terminology they use. So don't let them fool you. So now you're going to have to go out there and clean it. Plus, a lot of it has simulated wood look. So along those grains, it grabs a lot of oils and soil and stuff like that, and it just looks nasty. And then you've got people who are putting, what's that stuff called? Mop and glow on top of them. So we're selling a lot of strip jobs, cleaning jobs, and then coating jobs. And very profitable. So I wouldn't be concerned next 5 or 10 years, overly concerned. But it still doesn't hurt to go ahead and add some diverse services. And I've said that many times, and I stick by that. Diversify or die. So you need to learn how to do, and if you can do LVT and LVP and you learn to code it, it really makes it easy to transition to hardwood floors. Yeah, I know your hardwood floors have their idiosyncrasies and their nuances, but if you can do LVT and LVP and you practice on that and you practice coding it, it's very simple it really makes the transition so easy when you move over to hardwood floors. It really does, because a lot of the basics are the same. You're basically just abrading the floor, roughing it up a bit, and cleaning the floor, and then you're applying your coating. Now, it's almost impossible to mess up an LVT, LVP. Okay. So if you can do an LVT and LVP, you more than likely can do hardwood floor restoration. And then, of course, you got ductwork cleaning out there. Some carpet cleaners are pressure washing. Some are window cleaning. And just make sure whatever diverse service you add, that you practice it and get it to the point where you're at least at 90%. Okay? Remember that old expression, jack of all trades and master of none? Well, a lot of people just know that portion of it, because I hate to say it, like I said from the opening in here, A lot of people have been dumbed down by bad food, bad air, bad medicine, bad education, bad social media and stuff like that. What's the rest of that expression? Anybody know what the rest of that expression is before I tell you? Think about it for a minute. Jack of all trades, master of none. However, still better than a master of one. Think about that. Back in the olden days, if you couldn't diversify and you couldn't, you know, do many different things, you couldn't survive. You had to hunt, you had to build your house, you had to keep your house up. You didn't have all the modern necessities and services that you have these days. So you had to be, you know, pretty doggone productive. If you weren't, you would die or your family wouldn't survive. So remember that. Jack of all trades, master of none. However, still better than a master of one. So I mean that makes a difference. Yep, better than a master of one. Colin Brown said it. Very good. I didn't see that there. Uh, do you have a coating product for LVT and LVP? Yes, we do. It's called Finish 'em. And where it's on finish'em.com, or you can just go to tmfshop.net and you can pick those up. Yep, we have everything for them. We have a 1-year coating, we have a 3 to 5-year coating, we have the stripper, we have the cleaner, we have it all. Yep, and it's all made for the LBT, LBP, but it also crosses over into, you can use it for many other different surfaces too. So keep that in mind. You need to do it for hardwood floors. If you need to do it for even VCT, even for stone, you can do it for all types of things. It's amazing. So yeah, we do have it. Okay, let's see. Washington Pro Carpet Cleaner says, with all the added hard surfaces in homes, you will see much more. Area rugs in those homes. Yes, good point. Capitalize on the rug cleaning as well as the carpet cleaning while there. Excellent point, my friend. Excellent point. I can't overemphasize that enough. Our rugs, I went by my shop today and the place was loaded with rugs. Loaded with rugs. So you're right. People aren't just going to keep those hard surfaces in their living room and in their dining room and stuff like that. I can think back to the last few homes I went out and did videos in, and all of them who had hardwood floors and stuff like that, they had rugs down. LVT, LVP, they had rugs down. So you're right. Definitely keep up with the rug cleaning. And we have a good product for that. It's called Rug Smack. So if you want to clean rugs inside of homes, you can do that. And I always recommend it's best take it back and clean it. You can generally get more money. You can generally do a better job. But Rug Smack is probably the premier top-down rug cleaning product out there. It's very difficult to hurt a rug with Rug Smack. I've never heard of anybody ever hurting a rug with Rug Smack. That's how good it is. Should you always test first? Absolutely. But it's that versatile of a product where you can go in there and clean just about any type of rug and feel good about it and head out of there, whether you're doing it with hot water extraction or with VLM. Okay, looks like we got like about another minute and a half. Got any more questions? Feel free to come on in here. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and you will go ahead and get an alert for every video that pops up. And if you can't make this 8 p.m. on Wednesday nights, you can always catch it there on YouTube. So this will be the last question here. Would you use a spinner or a scrubber for LVT and LVP? You know, there's people who feel one way and people who feel the other way. I use a spinner every single time. Doesn't bother me at all. Okay. I keep it at 800 PSI, but I've cranked it up and tried it before. Even at 1,000 PSI, you're not leaving any halos, crop circles, or nothing like that inside of it. It's pretty durable stuff. But if you're concerned, just keep it between 800 and 1,000 PSI. I have not tried it at 1,500 or 2,000. That might halo it, but I can't say it would for sure. But it cleans up great just using our finishing product, or you can even use Grout Master or our Frog Nasty. Does a great job. You know, a lot of guys go in with a red pad and the finish them all-purpose cleaner, or they'll use Grout Master, or they'll use Frog Nasty. It's up to you. Any one of those will work. And they'll go in and scrub it with a red pad. After that, they'll run a spinner over it, 800 to 1,000 PSI. Comes out gorgeous. Really does. What kind of spinner? Rex said. I mean, turbo hybrid is my favorite. There's no doubt about it. Now we're now making one that, well, we're not making it, but we've sourced one out now that has a temperature gauge on it and it's got a sight glass. and that's really nice. So it's got some upgrades on it and a little more ergonomic handle. So keep that in mind. You can find them on tmfshop.net. We sell them all, so all the brands on there. But I would say those are the top two brands, and those will serve you well. So that's what I mean by a spinner. A spinner basically is basically a tool that's spinning under there, cleaning, kind of almost like pressure washing the floor with the vacuum going through the lid. If you haven't seen it, just go on inside at tmfshop.net, look up the Turbo Hybrid, look up the Super Tile Spinner, and look up the SX. SX. Okay. So that's the three models right there that are available. Sure. No problem at all. Okay, guys. Like I said, I'm going to keep it right at 45 minutes or so. I'm a little bit over 45 minutes. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. You can always comment there. If you can like, and if you can ring that bell and you can comment, those things help a lot. It helps my algorithm. It helps me back here because I'm a big believer in the law of reciprocity. I believe if I help you become successful, you help me become successful. And basically, I'm kind of living proof of that. And I hope this video right here will help you to improve your health. Because remember, health is wealth. All right. Thank you for answering our concerns, Rob. Have a great night. Everyone else have a great night too. I'm Rob Allen with Truck Mount Forums. Take care.